So today we are buying a uncut sheet. What is that in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh? In the factory where they make cards, they aren't printed like tiny little cards. They are large sheets of cards that then afterwards are cut. Now sometimes those uncut sheets are released, whether it's through a tournament prize or maybe just an employee who received one, something like that. Now on this channel we have talked about uncut sheets before. Now I like PSA graded cards as much as the next guy, but there's something about uncut sheets. You can display them, they're so large instead of a PSA card that's just like, you know, small. I love these, this is my #1 item. But you know, when it comes to display, uncut sheets are just mwah. I really wanted to have a specific one. It can't just be any random uncut sheet. I found the one I really want. We're going after a Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon uncut common sheet. Now as you know, I started the game around Magic Ruler, so that is my favorite set from the Duel Monsters era. However, a lot of my memories are actually tied to a lot of LOB commons from playing with my brother back in the day. We've already covered these commons on the channel before as well when I bought a little collection, so having a sheet of those is mind-blowing. Now if you like these types of real live big Yu-Gi-Oh deal vlogs, be sure to smash like. Look at me being a real YouTuber. So how about we check this thing out? Now, this frame won't be here in time, but when it comes to deals like this, you don't have the luxury of time. A PSA graded card, a PSA 7 Pharaoh Servant super rare, that's gonna be on eBay every single week or every single month or at least once every quarter. An item like this is once a year, maybe once every 3 years, maybe once in a lifetime. So I'm not wasting time. I made the deal, I bought the frame, and we're going there instantly. However, we need to be able to move this item. It's not like a tiny card, you know. It's a big sheet of cardboard, but it's still very thin and weak and frail. We're going by car, so that's fine, but we need something big and strong to support it. And I already know how to bootstrap my way out of this one. And the solution is to take this off this table, and then we can put the sheet on this table inside the car. So now that we have the support, let's put it in the car. Also, look at these. Wow. So here we are. We have this beautiful sheet from Dutch TCG. You can check him out on Instagram if you're interested in that. Now beyond this, we also have this very fancy Shadow of Infinity Ultimate Rare sheet. This is sadly not mine. We're only going after this one, but hit up Dutch TCG if you're interested in that. It is quite beautiful. It is a German Unlim, is that correct? Awesome, beautiful. And let's get this deal done. So now that we're back in Studio Solemne, let's talk about this beautiful sheet. As you can see right here, you basically have all of your cards side by side. They are not cut in any way. You could technically grab scissors and try to cut them out yourself, but I wouldn't do that. I think one important thing people don't seem to realize about uncut sheets is that a lot of the value is in the fact that they aren't cut. And I know this sounds obvious to some, but very unobvious to others. Some people say like, oh, so if you have an LOB Ultra sheet, you can cut out the cards. Well, yeah, sure you could, but they would technically not be official ones. They were never released. They would also not be gradable because they would not have the exact proper size. But most importantly, what's so special about sheets is the fact that you have this piece of Yu-Gi-Oh history that you can't replicate in any way. You cannot go and buy a booster box and pull this sheet. You cannot glue cards together and pull this sheet. This is the ultimate form of what cards started as. And if you try to cut that up, even if you had an Ultra LOB sheet and you could cut it up perfectly, it's not really all that special to have a bunch of raw LOB cards. What's special is having the fact that it's not been cut yet. This is straight from the factory. Now, next, what I think is pretty interesting about uncut sheets, there are very different kinds out there. on the one hand, you have these huge ones, but then on the other hand, you have the tiny ones, usually of 20 or maybe 9. Those were given out at regional championships. So if you would win a certain event, side event or something like that, you would get a tiny frame of an uncut sheet. But these are very, very different. You know, here you have your color testing line. Notice how across the whole side, you essentially have this line that checks whether the printer is not running out of color yet. And over here you have like to make sure that your paper is actually properly centered and so forth. These larger ones, as far as I'm aware, were never given out at a major event like that. And so I don't actually know where this thing comes from. What I assume happens is that some employee received it. Mark did a great job this month, and oh, you want something for your kids? You know, here's a little cool thing, and they get it that way, and that way they enter circulation somehow, because I don't know how else it would be possible. But as far as I'm aware, these were never given at events. But maybe I'm wrong, you know, if you used to run a local game store and maybe you tell me, oh, actually we received these from Upper Deck back in the day, you know, let me know. That would be interesting to know. But at least I couldn't track these down. I asked a lot of other collectors. I have no idea where these actually come from. Now, to get more into the nitty-gritty of the actual sheet right here, let's check it out. As you can see, these are first edition LOB European, which is where I'm from. As you can see, you have the little stamp, the gold stamp present on all of the cards on here, which is reassuring, let's say. Now, in the corner right here, it's actually signed, and I'm not sure by who. It's saying 080503. So I assume that might be like the 8th of May in 2003. That could make sense because LOB in Europe came out after LOB in America, but I would have to check the actual release date, so I'm not sure if that actually makes sense. Now, what else is actually really interesting is that this sheet can teach us something about the nature of short printing in the European sets. As you know, there's short printing in the American sets, and I assume the same is true for European, but this is actually a really solid indicator, at least, to check what is actually being short printed. So for example, if we look at Sogen right here, we have one Sogen, we have another Sogen, we have another Sogen, we have 3 Sogens on one single sheet. So that isn't short printed. Same thing with Yami. We have one Yami, we have another Yami, we have another Yami. Forest, we have another Forest, we have another Forest. There's all of these cards that keep on coming back. Same thing with Skull Servant. We have another Skull Servant. I thought there was another one. Yeah, right here. Also, absolutely in love with these cards. I've talked about this before on the channel, how some of these commons are just my absolute favorites in the game. My favorite Duel Monsters era set is Magic Ruler, but that's mostly because of the tunes and Relinquished. But when it comes to commons, man, LOB commons, they were just part of a lot of the decks that I used to play with my brother. Again, we saw all of these cards coming back again and again and again, but the cards that we didn't see come back were those same equip spells that we know are short printed. For example, we have our Book of Secret Arts right here. There's no Book of Secret Arts anywhere else. We have our Violet Crystal. There's no Violet Crystal anywhere else. We have our Beast Fangs. We have our Legendary Sword. All of these equip spells are one of one on this sheet. Now, of course, that isn't by itself proving anything, because as you can see, there seemingly isn't a solid order for any of this. Like over here, if you check out the numbering, it's 40, 39, 38, 37. But then here, it's 43, 39, 37. So there's no like inherent logic, but maybe there is, maybe I'm just missing it. But it seems there's no real logic as to how these are numbered and sorted. But at least, you know, from this sheet, we can at least see, hey, certain cards just show up less on this particular sheet than others. Oh, another thing we could quickly go over is look at these backs. This is so pleasing to look at. You know, you can sort your own cards and put them in that order. And, you know, it kind of looks like the opening episode where you have all the backs, but wow. Just the symmetry, seeing them all completely undivided. Once again, you have like the test line to see if the ink is not running out. That is just something else entirely. And again, you can go over it. There's no cuts whatsoever. This is just amazing to see. This is what it's all about. Just look at this still shot. This might as well be art. What do you think? Should we make this into an NFT? Is this the latest NFT? Oh, baby. I just figured I'd share that with you. I find it fascinating. This is truly, for me, a really cool part of Yu-Gi-Oh! History. If you want to know my favorites, it's Skull Servant, Basic Insect, Petite Dragon for sure. Also love Umi and Yami. I like Book of Secret Arts quite a bit as well. Violet Crystal I also really like, just art-wise. But yeah, a lot of amazing cool cards. And I think it's now time to frame this beauty. And so here we are with this beautiful, beautiful frame. Honestly, the second I framed this up, I immediately saw this is going to be one of my favorite items in my collection. I honestly can't keep repeating the same shit. Like the history, the memories, the nostalgia, the rarity. It has everything going for it. And so I hope you enjoyed this little journey of me acquiring this beautiful piece. I hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you're interested in seeing more of these real life vlog acquisition type of videos. And I will see you soon. Ciao.